we have 42 views, 6 comments, and 6 likes, and then 8 subscribers.
Are two of them you and me?
Did you subscribe? I subscribed.
Yeah, I subscribed. Of course I subscribed.
Dude, your hair's so cute. I used to like the blow dryer diffuser, and then I put it in a bun. Can you tell?
That looks good.
All right. Well, I'm Katie. That's McCall.
And we're too delusional to care.
Yes, we are. All right. What's up, girl? What's going on?
Just chilling. It's a rainy day here in the Midwest. So just been lounging, drinking my coffee, watching my show, petting my cats.
Yeah, you pet that cat, girl. No, it's super sunny here. It's like 80 degrees, but I'm wearing a sweater. It's like a little breezy, but it's
You're a Midwest girl.
I am. You can't take the Midwest out of me. But oh my gosh, I meant to tell you, literally as we're speaking, Shannon is messaging me, giving me advice.
Oh, is she telling you what to do? Because she
was like, I want to be the first guest, and I was like taking applications, and she said, send me the Zoom link next time. And then I said, well, how good is it? Like, don't lie to me, tell me the truth. And she's like, a little rough around the edges with the energy. Cool.
Shannon, when I said tell me the truth, I meant lie.
Yeah, I meant don't tell me the truth. I can't take that, actually. Because what have you been up to? We haven't talked.
It was my birthday. Duh. The big 2-6.
It was. Happy late birthday.
Thank you. It was actually super fun. So I was obviously at drill weekend, which I was doing the math, and I have spent the past 8 birthdays wearing the uniform. Literally, not even like in the military, just like literally at work.
Yeah.
But no, it was super fun. My friends down there made it like really special. Like someone made me a cake, brought it to work, and then we went out afterwards. I got ready with my friend down there. So it was kind of just a cute little girl moment. We're getting ready to go to the bars, which was fun. And then cool restaurant, and they surprised me with like one of those candle things.
I saw. Very cool. It looked like a lighter sparkler thing.
Yeah, like a sparkler and some ice cream. So that was really fun and special. And we had a good time. It was fun.
Good. Love that. Love your birthday. Halloween happened, and we uploaded our first video today. We are climbing the social tower.
Viral.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're going to get there. Promise. Oh, speaking of, we totally need like clip art type. Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking. No, we need like a clip art beginning thing and like whatnot, and like a little jingle or whatnot. So more so, if anybody wants to help us with that, let us know.
If anyone wants to sing us a little song or anything like that, that would be great.
Yes. It doesn't have to be perfect or good, or just a little cute thing.
Yeah. Just cute. That's the only criteria. Just cute.
Just cute. We're cute. What else has been going on? Anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I have some updates on Tinder Boy.
Ooh, do you wanna get into that right now? Yeah.
Should we that can be part of my little update, because it's really not like a huge update. He like literally 24 hours after we recorded, he ghosted me. This is literally like this is why we're too delusional to care, is because I didn't hear from him. So I'm like, he obviously got in an accident. He's in the hospital. Like I'm like, there's no other reason.
Literally.
But no, I don't think I think he's just gone with the wind.
How long after your date was that?
Was it like 5 days or something? Maybe so that's why like the timeline didn't. I was like, okay, like whatever. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe something happened. Maybe he met someone else. Oh well.
Or he's married.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I want to find him on social media.
No, I don't think he is married, because I do have him on social media. So like I'm 90% sure he's not married.
I'm gonna take him down. Ew, what a loser. Ghost you. See, I think ghosting is so immature. Like, we're gonna get into our hot takes, but I'm gonna go forward. That's one of my hot takes. It's just I think sometimes it's like, okay, whatever. Like if you're just in like this texting phase, you haven't seen each other, and it's like you want to just kind of cut it off. And I also think it depends on how the other person is. So if they're like rude or something, and you don't want to talk to them, fine. But like you went on a date, you spent a lot of time like speaking to each other, texting back and forth, and then you're just gonna ghost somebody. I don't know.
I agree with that hot take. That's like if you're like in the texting stage and like you haven't like met up with the person yet, and it's like relatively new, then like fine, like whatever. Or like if you just get like weird vibes, then like like you're not entitled to text anyone back. Like that's fine.
Right.
But like because like if you've gone on a date or you've been talking for an extended period of time, at least just be like, hey, sorry, like met somebody else. Like I did that to a guy. I mean, I lied. I didn't meet anyone. I just didn't like him anymore. And I was like, hey, sorry, like this is just not gonna work out. I met somebody else and they want to be serious. And he was like, oh, okay. And then just never talked to him again. Delete.
Even just saying like, hey, I don't think we're a good match, and you know, whatever. I do think it's scary being a girl, obviously, in the sense of saying that and then risking your life because you don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Gross. I don't like him anymore.
So yeah, whatever. Next, obviously, I have so many suitors.
Exactly. So
I did get I didn't get a funny. It wasn't funny, but this guy matched with me on. I've have not been on Tinder because I'm just like I feel like every time you go on Tinder, it's like it's fun for like 2 weeks, and then it's just like okay, next. Like I'm bored, and then like you never really touch it again. But I matched with this guy, or I got a notification that I matched with him, and then I got another notification saying he messaged me. So I like opened the app, see what he said. I didn't open his message prompt or whatever thing, but he said, I gotta be honest, I would totally rail you. And I was like, I messaged him back. I was like, oh my gosh. It's so hard to find honest guys nowadays. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be honest too though. I would not. And then
you didn't. That's incredible.
Unmatched me. I was like, oh my God. Somebody come get their mans.
That's wild. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have like such a old lady brain where if somebody said that to me and I didn't know them at all, or just in general, I feel like even if Katrina said that to me, I'd be like, oh my God.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Oh my, respect me.
Yeah, no, Tinder is wild. Some of these boys out here like
Yeah. I can't imagine.
But that's what's been going on with me. What about you? What have you been up to?
What? I definitely expected more from you, especially from your birthday and drill weekend. I have notes in my phone because I never know what's happening. Also, don't make fun of me. I have like this old lady magnet to like put my phone up. Yeah, I need to
where's it
get it off. So in my car, in the Jeep that I was driving, it didn't have like CarPlay, so I had to like mount my phone up, and it would get like super hot in the windshield. So I wanted it somewhere else, and so I tried to get like one of those magnet things, but that didn't work either. And now I just like can't get it off because it hurts. So I should probably just get a new phone case. But what's been going on with me? I was going to tell you about my sweater. Sweater is from Target. Katrina and I saw the Eras Tour concert.
How was it?
It was so good. So obviously I didn't go to the concert, but movie, so good. I cried like several times for like so many different reasons. I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of her. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't get to see her in concert. And then I was thinking like, I'm like crying because I'm like putting myself in everybody else's shoes that are there, and like what a moment to, all of that. But yeah, I thought it was so good. She's such an incredible performer. I don't know how she does it. I can't understand like singers or artists in general. Like, is she lip syncing? Is she not? Like, there's nothing that makes me think she's lip syncing, but I'm like, how is she doing all of that like back to back to back? So, and I also, the movie, I wasn't at the concert, so it's hard to tell if she is actually that quick with like the changing, like her outfit changing and stuff. But I've heard like her show, like she's literally that quick. But yeah, oh my gosh, it was so good. Incredible. I cried. Katrina had a great time. I did that. And then, on your birthday, I went and saw Two Girls, One Ghost, their podcast live. It was so good. No, they were so cute. So they did, if you haven't listened to them, they do like a lot of ghost stories and like hauntings and stuff like that. I haven't been listening super long, but long enough to want to see them. And they went and stayed in the Conjuring house, like the actual Conjuring house. And then they're on tour right now, like showing people all their videos from it and stuff. So it was like creepy, cool. Mm-hmm. Katrina and I had to like sleep with the like TV in our room for a few days or a night, I don't know, for like a few days because we were scared. No, that was really cool. But yeah, what else? What else has been going on? I don't even know. Oh, last thing. Do you oil pull? Like with your teeth?
Probably not. I don't know.
So it's with like coconut oil. Like it's like a hot trend right now. I wouldn't say it's a trend, but like oil pulling. You put like a spoonful of coconut oil in your mouth and you swish it around for several minutes, and it's supposed to make your teeth super strong, super white, like just like a healthier mouth overall. Did that for the first time this morning. First of all, it's rough. It's rough. Like imagine putting coconut oil, because it comes in a chunk, it's chunky, like a solid, not a chunk. It comes as like a solid. Yeah. So it comes as like a solid, and you gotta make it into an oil.
I put it in my hair.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love coconut oil. It's so healing for everything.
I put it on my hoo-ha when I shave because I think that moisturizes so I don't get razor burn.
I love that. No, that's so smart. I just wasn't expecting you to say that. But no, that's perfect. I think you should do that.
This is for the girls.
Yeah, for the girls.
Maybe you'll get like a really good jawline from it.
I think I already have a good jawline.
I agree.
I also don't think that can change your jawline.
I don't know. It's like a muscle. You're like
your jawline is your jawbone. So
So
what else has been going on?
Moving on.
Do you remember for your birthday, like every year we'd go to, what was it, On the Border? My favorite. I wish we had it down here.
I still love On the Border. That's a hot take.
Yeah, hot take, love On the Border. I know it's like super whitewashed, Americanized, but
yeah. Also, super hot take, I love Applebee's.
Interesting.
And Applebee's stan. And Chili's.
Katrina's a big Chili's girl. I feel like you go one way or the other. I did not grow up. I don't know if I grew up on either, really. I don't really love Applebee's. I think their menu's too big. But I do think it's fun that they do like the $1 drinks every month, I think it is, or something like that. They're not good. They're a dog. Yeah, but it's so fun. I haven't been to an Applebee's in a long time. But Chili's, that's Katrina's favorite. That's like her, solid choice right there. But not a big fan of Chili's either. I don't know why.
I feel like you're either in or you're out. Like you either like it or you don't. And I think I like Applebee's so much because like when I was active and living in Missouri, there was like no bars or whatever. So we'd go and like we'd pregame at Applebee's. Yeah. And we'd get what $1 drink was. And then we go have a time. So I think that's why like the memories tied to, because I didn't grow up going to Applebee's or anything like that, but just the memories tied to the bees, going to the bee.
Yeah. I feel like a few of us used to go to Applebee's every now and then in Alaska because it was like one of those restaurants that we had. But it definitely wasn't often. But if we did it, it was for like the $1 drinks. Yeah. For sure.
Pregame.
Yeah. So
I'm an Applebee's stan. I like Chili's. I'm good. Like I feel like to the point, like maybe not like a first date. I don't even know. Like if some guy was like, "Hey, do you want to go to like Chili's on a first date?" I'd be like, "I do."
No.
I actually do. Maybe a second date.
Yeah. You know, whatever. If the effort's there, who cares? If the personality is good, who cares?
Like if maybe it's something like we talked about, like LOL, I love Applebee's or Chili's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I also wanted to ask you, I don't know what subject this comes under. Maybe hot takes or just silly chit chatting. Yeah. But do you have third-party characters in your life?
So I saw that you made a note of that. I have no idea what you mean by that. And so if you explain it to me, maybe.
Okay. So third-party characters are essentially these people in your life that like they have no idea that like you consider them to be like a part of your life. So like for instance, I have Elevator Man. He's this guy in my apartment complex. I don't know his name. We've never spoken, but I always see him in the elevator. So I'm convinced we're the only two people that live in this apartment because I only ever see him and it's always in the elevator. And I'm like, he has no idea that he is Elevator Man. And then same thing, like too, I guess there's 3 people living in this apartment complex. But there's this girl and I call her like hot tub girl because I only ever see her when I'm going down to the hot tub. And I'm like, I wonder and to them it's just like, oh, whatever. But these are third party characters in my life that they don't even know it. Or like same thing with like the security guards down there. I'm like, there's the security. Like they don't know that they're a third party character in my life.
Right. Like, do they remember you as much as you remember them?
Am I like elevator girl or hot tub girl to these people? I don't know.
Right. Or hear me out. We'll get deep for a second. Is this just like a big game of The Sims and you are like, it's like a simulation. Like these people are literally only there. I don't know. That'll get me going if we talk about
That's a rabbit hole and a half.
Yeah.
I'm only placed here, so I don't think I'm in a simulation.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's like people around my apartment complex, like this one person, who just, I don't know, weird vibes. I don't know. I'll have to tell you about it. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, yes. All my Whole Food people. Every person who works at Whole Foods. Those are my people, man. And I don't know if they remember us as much as I remember them or we remember them. But every time it's like the same person working the self-checkout or oh my gosh, we had a guy at the meat counter. We'd go up there. Oh, hey, how are you? Like we knew each other and whatnot. I don't think he works there anymore. And I hate it. It makes me sad. I won't get meat from the meat counter. But it's just weird because I feel like we see each other all the time and be like, oh my gosh, hey. But he also works there. So is he doing that? First of all, is he doing that with other people? Because that's going to upset me.
Yeah. He's keeping on me.
Rude. But yeah, no, I like that. A third party character. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Is that like a thing?
I think so. I don't know. If it's not, then I made it up. That makes me cool.
Exactly.
I feel like it is a thing. I don't know. But another delusional hot take. So I had to get my oil changed. So I did that. And every single time I get my oil change, I get in my car and I'm always just so surprised that I don't have gas. Or I don't have more gas because in my mind, it's the same thing. You pay for an oil change and then they should fill up your gas tank as well.
I agree. Anytime I get my car service, I feel like they should fill up the gas. And is that wrong? I don't know. What other hot takes do you have? Because I have some, but I think they're actual hot takes because yours are just silly goofy.
Yeah, mine are silly goofy. I don't think I have any serious hot takes right now.
So I have 2, and it's just conversations that have come up in the last week with Katrina. First one, I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you live. There's no factors here unless somebody can enlighten me. But if you pull up into a residential area like your neighborhood or your friend's neighborhood or something, and you have music blasting, I hate you.
Is there any time limit on this, or is it just in general?
No, don't do it. I don't care. Don't do it.
No, that's fair.
Don't do it.
I never thought about that because I always instinctively turn my music when I go no. No, even when I pull into my parents' neighborhood, I turn my music down a little bit.
Yes.
It's not blasting and then when I pull into my parking garage I turn it down. And mostly because I'm like, I don't need anyone listening to my music. This is my music.
My music, get your own.
Yeah.
Mine's more like, I just don't get it. Like Katrina and I will be like going on a walk or even, and I think this goes for more than just music. I think it goes for like having loud parties or like blasting music in your apartment and stuff like that. Like I know living in an apartment, you can't like change everything to suit other people, but I do think you have to remember that you live around other people. And I don't know, like some people will just throw bangers at our pool. And I live so close to the pool, and it's like 10 p.m. on a Monday. And luckily, I don't have to worry about getting up super early or anything. But I'm sure other people do. And I don't know. I just don't get it. Like I get having fun with the friends and stuff like that. But I feel like if you want like the loud music and stuff, you got to go somewhere else. Like those are the shitty things about living in an apartment that you just don't get. You know, like you don't get to have those loud parties and, you know,
Or go to the community room. Like every apartment has like a community room. Ours is like sound.
So, see, I don't know if ours is, but it also closes at 10 p.m. And like our community outside area thing closes when the sun goes down, which right now is like 5 p.m. But you know, I don't care if you're out there at the pool swimming around and you've got a speaker going, but if it is like blasting where I can hear it in my apartment and like I'm not like I'm close to the pool, but I'm not like I can see it, but I still have to walk to it. It's not like right outside my back door.
So it's like super loud.
Yeah. And there's people closer to the pool. So I don't know. Yeah. That's one hot take. Maybe I'm just thinking of this on the spot. Another hot take. I think apartment complexes should put people, it's like a dorm room. I think people should be put in a certain building due to their occupation or like what time they work, or like, I think there should be like smoke-free buildings. I think there should be like, you know, stay at home or like remote workers, night workers, like shift workers or like people who work nights and stuff. Like there should be different buildings for that. So
that would actually be a really cool idea. Financially, I don't know if it would work, but I see where you're coming from. Like,
yeah, there's probably some law against it.
Yeah, like, or if people could like, even just like a section or like a floor, like, hey, this floor, like we do have like, it's specifically for shift workers, or like, and then like, I don't know, like put the younger, like early 20s kids, like I'm just put it back in their parents' house.
Yeah. You don't get to live here. There's an age requirement.
Yeah. Like, but like put younger kids like in a different, I don't know, like maybe like the first floor or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I agree. Another hot take. I do not fault people for giving like bad customer service.
Oh,
I know. And I am totally somebody who will like not roll my eyes, but like I want good customer service. I want like a good interaction with somebody. Like if I'm asking you how you are, I would hope that you would at least respond to me. You know, like I'm not asking for a whole conversation, tell me you like my clothes, like anything like that. Just, I don't know. I do like that. However, I do not fault the person for it. And I say this because Katrina and I just had like an interaction at one of the stores that we went to recently. And I walked up and I was like, hi, how are you? And she was like, do you have a phone number? And I was like, And so Katrina gave her phone number. And then we were standing there and she goes, receipt. And I was like, oh my God. And she's younger, you know, and I don't know. I immediately was like, oh, I hate that. And then I was like, who cares? You know what? And then I thought about it. I said, what if something happened in her family? What if she's just having a bad day? What if she got yelled at by her boss? And then another thing I think about is I used to work with like a group of people who were younger than me, you know, like anywhere from 18 to like 22. And they really opened my eyes to like customer service because they would be like, how can you just talk to everybody? Like, how is that? Like, why do you do that? I was like, I don't know. It's just something I can do. And I was like, why can't you? Like, I don't care. But like, why is it hard for you? COVID. They were literally, some of their most, what's the word I'm looking for? Like formative years. They spent during COVID, like whether it was the beginning years of college or the ending years of high school. And just, you know, it's hard to speak to people sometimes. So I don't know. I think that's a super hot take sometimes because I don't care. Like if you're having a bad day, I'm not going to let it ruin mine. And I hate that you're having a bad day. Or maybe you just are bad at customer service, but like, what am I going to do? Attach myself to it? No, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, what am I going to do? Be mad about it?
Right.
Transitioning into our next topic, which, as you guys may know, Veterans Day is coming up on November 11th. And in case anyone did not know, Katie and I are veterans. So we wanted to pay a little tribute to everyone who has served, is serving, past, present, and future. And just kind of talk about our experience and why we joined, and then just some little facts about Veterans Day that some people might not know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you join the military?
Man, this is like such a loaded question. I feel like you also get it in the military a lot. Anytime you meet somebody new, it's always like, oh, so why did you join? I joined right out of high school at 18 years old, and I pretty much had no other plans to do anything else. I didn't have any idea about a college or anything like that. I would say my main reason behind joining before I joined was my brother was in the Marines. When I saw him graduate basic training or his like boot camp, it was just like, I think I was like 12 or I was so young. It was just like so emotional for me. And I was like, I want this. Like, I want all of this. I don't know what exactly it meant or anything like that, but I would say that is why I joined. And all through high school, I never thought or was like pushed to look into like any other option. So I think kind of when I hit 18 and whatnot, I would say even before then, it was just, this is what I'm going to do. And I didn't think about anything else. Why did you join?
So I joined because my best friend joined.
Yeah. So we actually left for basic the same day. We graduated the same day, which was McCall's birthday. We should have been in the same like BMT flight, but we were on different like physical flights to basic training. But yeah, it was fun. We would like try to sneak in to like church together and see each other, which was so cool. But yeah, we did. We joined together. We thought it was going to be something totally different. We thought we'd be like stationed together and do everything together, but
yeah, we didn't really do. I did not personally do like any research. I was like, it got to the point like senior year, maybe junior year, end of junior year, beginning of senior year, when people started being like, what are you doing for school? What are you doing for school? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but then like, even back then I was like, that's so expensive. Like at 17 years old, I could not comprehend taking out like that much money in student loans. And then when Katie was like, hey, I'm joining the military, they give you free college, I said, you know what, bestie, me too. I took the ASVAB, and like once I got my scores, they ask you like what day you want to leave, and you had already had yours. So I said, I don't care what job. I went in open electrical, and so I was like, I don't care what job I get, I want to go to basic training with my best friend. So I put the day you left, which was September 13th. And yeah, we did. And I just people ask me like, you really joined because Katie did? And I'm like, yeah, why? Like, is that not a good enough reason? Was that not a good enough reason? And I have nobody in my family who was really in the military besides my grandpa, who was in Vietnam. But other than that, like, no, I came home one day and I like remember telling my family, and they were like, what? Like, what are you doing? So,
yeah. And I think a lot of people thought it was like a bit for us. I don't even think the word bit was around then, but it was just, I don't think anybody truly believed that we were going to do it until we did it. And then I don't think we believed that we were going to do it until we did it. Like in the airport, we're like, are you sure about this one? Because I don't know anymore. But I don't know if I would have been able, I want to say that I would have been able to follow through by myself. But I think I don't know. It was so scary. Like I look back on that and I just remember being so confident at the same time and just being like, yeah, whatever, I'm doing this. And then getting there and being like, you know, you haven't slept in 3 days and you're like, what is this? This is not what I thought it was.
Yeah. I remember getting there like the first night and I was like, what is this? Because you got there before me. So by the time I had gotten like in process and like got to our actual like dorm where we were going to be staying, it was so late. Like it was like early hours in the morning. And like, you know, you're getting yelled at, pick it up, put it down, whatever. We did that for forever. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no, what did we do?
Yeah, it was so late because so you fly in and it doesn't matter if you're the first person there or the last person there. You wait for everybody who arrives on the same day. So I think I landed when it was light out, and you know, all of that, got bused there. By this time it was like dusk. And we got into the in-processing room. They gave us our like boxed dinner, and we sat there for probably like 2.5, 3 hours until you guys got in. We weren't allowed to talk or anything like that. And then your flight got in and everything. And that's how everybody was like sectioned off, was just, you know, these 25, you know, whatever. And then, yeah, we all separate and they give us our MTIs that night. And oh my gosh, it's like a movie, like cinematic. It's just, you know, flashlights everywhere. And you're just like, what am I doing? Pick it up, put it down. Like you said, they're trying to teach us like steps the first night. It's all such a blur, but I don't know. I look back and I'm like, how silly. Like, what a silly, goofy time that was.
It really, yeah, it was such a silly, goofy time, but it was fun. Looking back, I'm like, I had a good time. I ended up having a good time in basic training. I met a lot of really cool girls. But we'll get into like more stories on a different podcast episode. But so, Katie, what did you do in the military?
Yeah, so I went in with my job. I knew what I was going in with. I was a medic, so aerospace medical technician. I did quite a few different things with that, but so ultimately I'm an EMT, and then they place you in the hospital or like clinic where, you know, they need you. So I worked in women's health for a majority of my career, actually. Fell in love with it. And then when I got stationed somewhere else, I worked in family health and internal medicine. So I did a lot of clinic work, did rotations other places, you know, different wards in the ER and everything, which was, you know, pretty cool. But yeah, that was my job. What did you do?
I was an avionics specialist for heavy airframes. Did that for 6 years, and then when I was getting out to join the Guard, I was like, I fell in love with it. Weirdly enough, people knew me like back then, and I told them that I was going to be an avionics specialist, specifically flight controls. Is what I specialized in. We're all merged now, so it's all the same, all just avionics. But people were like, "You're doing what?" Because it's just like not like I knew like what a screwdriver was, and like that's it. Like I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about airplanes, and I was like, okay, here we go. But I ended up like falling in love with it. Like I truly loved my job. And then when I got out and was joining the Guard, I had like an option. You have an option to like retrain or whatever. But I was like, no, I want to do like the same job, and I am happy I did. So still do that. My 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer. Yeah, I still love it to this day. So I know we both, obviously we were kind of doing out processing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I know we were like when we were both going through TAP, which for those of you who don't know is a congressionally mandated course that everybody has to go through in the military, regardless of your branch, prior to separation. It's established to help, like there was a lot of veterans getting out, coming back from various wars that didn't have any like resources. So that's essentially what TAP is in place for, to help you transition to the civilian world a lot smoother. Which it's like a 5-day course. I had a really positive TAP experience. Like my instructors were like super high energy and like really like helpful. The information is really good. And I think because I went through it so soon, I don't really like remember a lot of it, but at the same time, like I'm glad that we had it. And then I still have those giant books and stuff. So like if I ever did need help with like healthcare is so confusing. So you go from having like 100% coverage from like 18 to 24. How old was that? 6 years? Probably. I don't know. However old we were when we got out. And then you go from then you have to find your own health insurance. And so that was like super confusing. And like the different programs they have are super helpful, like TAMP, where you get like 6 months of 100% coverage when you're out. So that's really helpful. And then just like if you weren't big into school, I know the Air Force specifically is super big on school. So like they push that really hard. So I feel like Air Force specifically, we've always been like more like knowledgeable about the different benefits with education. But for like other like other people who weren't interested, and then in other branches, the education aspect of it is super great because you do have so many insane benefits.
Yeah.
Educational wise. And then I did SkillBridge, which that's an internship program. So essentially you can use, I want to say it was like up to 6 months. You can separate 6 months before and do SkillBridge, which is an internship program with a company that like partnered with the military essentially. So I did mine at Northrop Grumman, which, do you see Moomy?
Yeah, I do see Moomy.
Which it was super fun. I liked the people I worked with, but that's kind of where I discovered that corporate was like not for me, even though it was like a very similar, it was like similar to like what I was doing I was in the military. I was like, okay, I love the company, love the people. I, however, am not a big fan of corporate. So for me, that was like super helpful. And then plus I was able to move home a lot sooner than I would have been, because I moved home in May and then I stopped SkillBridge in September when we get out. So that's a super cool thing. I know Katrina did SkillBridge as well. So that's a super helpful program.
Yeah.
Especially like I told people, if you do SkillBridge, like try to do it at a company where you're potentially interested in working.
Yeah.
Because it gives you good insight. Like you're not committed to the company, but if you're like semi-interested, you can kind of feel it out for a couple months and decide yes or no.
Right.
So that was super helpful. And then for me, post-military, I've been going to school using my GI benefits. So that is really helpful and awesome. And just living my life. I'm a waitress part-time. So
yeah,
that's me, just going to school.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of start where you started. Yeah. So TAP is that program. I did not have a great experience with it. I believe yours was in person, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, mine was all Zoom, which again, kind of like I was talking about last week with like school, it's cool, but it's not, so much information over a Zoom is really difficult to grasp. And I didn't get any books. Or I did, I don't remember, I don't know. But we didn't have to use anything. So I had like a 50-50. I wasn't like a huge fan of it. I know some branches, or some bases, I should say, because if you are a joint base, you're going to go through the same TAP, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. But I know, like, when my brother got out, he went through a similar course, but he didn't know anything about, like, getting out. Like, it's just, I think it depends on what branch you're getting out of and stuff. So my brother was a Marine. He got out several years ago. And, they don't push education, or they didn't back then, and they didn't really seem to care when people got out. So I actually got out via medical retirement. So a lot of my stuff is different than yours, McCall. So I have 100% coverage with my healthcare and everything like that. I still get the GI Bill and whatnot. There's so many programs, like McCall is saying, there's so many programs that you can do for, like, through the VA for your future. I just don't think that the VA does a good enough job at making it accessible to people. Like, I think a lot of people struggle getting their disability percentage, like their rating, because it's just so many hoops to jump through. I was so lucky because when I was getting out through a medical retirement, they did so much for me, and they needed to have a rating before I got out. So, that was nice for me. But like Katrina, after she got out and was getting her VA rating and all of that, it's just, it can be such a pain. There's just, there is a lot that the VA offers. They just don't do the best job at showing you how to do it and stuff. And that is probably all due to funding and whatnot, but I could go on and on about all of that, but I won't. But yeah, for me, I spent my 6 years in, and then medically retired. And then as soon as I got out, Katrina and I actually traveled out west for like 3 months in an RV. We bought an RV and did that, which was so fun. We got to see a lot of places and whatnot, spend a lot of time with family, and then headed back to Illinois, and then waited a few months until we moved to Florida, and then she got a job. I got a job a few months later, just working part-time. I don't do that anymore. I literally just focus on school. But yeah, I mean, getting out is getting out. And I think we talked about it a little bit last week. You transition into those jobs that you're not doing like the same thing or like important things. I don't know. I don't want to say important things because it is important. But yeah, that transition out is definitely, yeah, exactly. Which for the months that I wasn't working when I got out of the military, I was like, this is incredible. I love not working, but I really need to find something because I can't do this forever. I felt like I needed to have something to get up and go to every day. So I did that. And then I felt worse. Like I felt like shit about myself because it was like, okay, so I used to like, you know, help people medically and serve people that way. And now I'm literally serving people like food. And it's rough. But yeah, I mean, I think the VA is just a pain in my ass. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say. But
yeah, you have a lot more like experience with the VA because I have not filed for disability because I'm still in the Guard. You can, I can at any point, I guess, but then it comes out of like my drill pay. So that's future me's problem. But I do think like when I first got out, like it was like such a high because I was like, woohoo, I joined you guys in Montana. So like it was fun for like the first couple months. And then when it finally like hit me, I was like, oh, okay, like I'm doing this. I was so excited to like move and like start a new life. And then like it hit me. I was like, this is just like not what I expected. And like you almost kind of go into like a little like depression where I think having you there, like we both got out at the same time. So like worked out really well because we were able to understand one another, like what we were going through. And like, not to say that like, so I do tell people like even that I keep in contact with, and then even like people I work with now, when you do get out, like having a good support system established, like whether they be like have military or not is so important because it's rough. Like you go from being super, like you go from being like in charge of like a lot of really important things for so long. And then you get out and it's like, okay, now what? Like, now I do. And then for people who don't, like I preach like military one source, like if you can't get a hold of the VA to set up like an appointment with like a therapist or anything like that, like call military one source. Like we'll answer the phone and like they can get you scheduled right away with like the 10 free sessions for any one specific issue. So like,
and they're not just a therapy source. Like people say that a lot. Military One Source will pretty much answer any question you have. I have used Military One Source myself for questions that I can't find on Google. And I mean, there's so many things like that. And I don't mean to like take the floor from you, but when you mentioning, you know, depression, getting out of the military for me was probably one of the most like riveting things that I've done and one of the most depressing things that I've done. And I'm sure we'll go like really deep into this in other episodes and stuff, but like you join, you're so proud, even though you like hate it for the first years of it, whatever, you know, you're like, oh man, just embrace the suck, blah, blah. And then you're getting out and you're so excited. And then, like you said, a few months go by and you're having a blast. And then it just like, it hits you like a semi truck. And it's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm so young. I don't have a degree. I don't have, you know, like, I may have gone to school while I was in, but I don't have anything like tangible to like help people with or to do. Like, I don't have a piece of paper saying like, oh, I can work for you. Or, you know, it's rough. Like I got to do so much in the military under the military scope of practice in the medical field. Then you get out and you have your EMT license, but it's not a lot. And, you know, I should have done more while I was in to get more, you know, like a different license or something, but not everybody does that. And you get out and you're just kind of like stuck. And it's a hard thing to go through. I think Katrina could speak on that forever too. Cause she, you know, she was security forces. So she was a cop and she got to do, you know, some really cool things. And then towards the end, she was in charge of a whole warehouse where, you know, she was ordering like the first female vests and stuff for their uniforms that were female specific that like nobody else had done. And she's like praised for it. And then she gets out and it's like, well, now what? You know, it's such a weird feeling, kind of like what we were talking about last week. You know, you're praised for all your service that you do. And while you're in, you just kind of like roll your eyes about it. And you're like, yeah, it's my job, whatever. And then you get out and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to get that again. It's a rough transition. And I do think people should talk more about it, and those things should be out there, but
be more like, because I had like, I think overall I've had like a positive experience with getting out. Like obviously there were like rough patches, but like I preach to people who are still in and thinking about getting out, like have your support system like identified and like ready to go, even if they don't necessarily like understand your feelings like totally. Just having people like mom, dad, brother, friend, like anyone to lean on is so important. And then a plan, like have a plan. I don't know, like if I did not have like a set plan set, I'm like, number one, I'm kind of OCD, so like I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, XYZ, ABC, 1 2 3, got it. And if like I didn't have a plan and I'm like the plan was just to get out and move back home, I would be so like for me personally, I would feel so much more lost. But like you said, like you're kind of like constantly like chasing that high. And I think like when I was substitute teaching, I really enjoyed it. Like that was something I really enjoyed. So I was like, okay, cool. Like at least I know that I'm like on the right path, but it's like you said, like I still am not able to be like a teacher because I need to get my bachelor's. So like for right now, like sitting in that lull of like, I have to remind myself like, okay, you might feel behind because you're 26 and you're working towards your bachelor's still. But at the same time, I'm like, no, it's fine, McCall. Like you just have to like constantly check in with yourself and check in with your friends. Like I think that is so important. And if you don't have that, like use your resources that the military does offer, because they are good. Like, and I don't think people like enough people don't talk like enough people are not talking about like everything like besides the VA. Like if you can't get a hold of the VA, there's so many other programs, and like just being educated on that is very important. And I feel like it's maybe base dependent, maybe squadron dependent,
absolutely,
whatever, because I ran the resiliency program for my squadron. So I was very much like, here is everything you guys have access to. It's free. It's 24 hours. Like use it, whether they cared at the time or not. I'm like, it's at least out there. So
no, if I had to give one piece of advice for anybody either about to get out, still in with no plans to get out, or people who have been out 1 year, 10 years, whatever it is do everything you can for yourself. So what I mean by that is if you are still in, go to medical, get seen. If something hurts, go get seen. Like if you have chronic anything, go get seen. If it doesn't even have to be chronic. If you hurt yourself, go get seen. That will only help you when you get out. When you are about to get out, same thing. Go get seen. Start your, VA disability stuff as soon as you can. If you've been out a year, if you've been out 10 years, make sure you do it. I think so many people just would rather not go through the hurdles to get their rating. And I'm not kidding. The amount of benefits that come along with different ratings is insane. It's usually like if you're over 30%, you get a certain amount of health care, or you can apply for certain programs and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of shame around getting VA disability, especially if you never deployed or if you were never like combat injured or anything like that. But, it's there. It's there for any veteran. It does not matter. Like, get it. Like, absolutely do it. I preach to my sister and her husband, like, you guys need to go get seen. I don't care. Like, if you don't have the time, make the time. Like, go get seen. So I would say like that's one of my pieces of advice. And then, like you said, just the support system, really think it through before you get out, have a plan. I think it's really easy to say that you want to get out when you're in the thick of it and it just kind of sucks, but know what that's going to look like on the outside too. Like just know that you're going to experience the same stuff on the outside. And I could go back and forth and say like it's not worth staying in and it's not worth getting out. Like I think there are so many good arguments for both sides, and I totally understand both of them. But yeah,
biggest piece of advice, which kind of goes along with like yours of like going to get seen, like do the things, jump through the hurdles. It will be worth it. Is advocate for yourself. Like you are your biggest advocate. If you think about it, like the people at the clinic and like the hospital or like wherever you're at on base, like it's by appointment. So like they're not gonna call you. Like there's no like list. I mean, like yeah, you have like the things you have to do, like go see medical when you're out processing, but they're just gonna sign your paper. They're not gonna ask you like, I mean, on your final out they do, but before you do all that, like go, like advocate for yourself, whether that be medically, whether that be like for school, like use the military and all the resources, because when you get out, like there's not going to be like there's no like CSS where you can go to, there's no like you can't like ask your flight chief when you're out like, hey, what should I do? Like you need to like do what you need to do for yourself before those resources, like immediate resources, are gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's basically, I think that's like us post military so far. We'll do a deep dive as far as like our careers and like different experiences, and maybe get Katrina on here as well. But Katie, do you have any little facts for us about Veterans Day?
I do. Before we do facts, I do want to just say, you know, obviously you and I have worked with plenty of veterans and plenty of people in the military, because obviously we were in with them. So first off, thank you to everybody that I got to serve with. People I didn't get to serve with, I want to thank you, McCall, for your service. I want to thank everybody in my family. You know, my sister, Lori, her husband, Josh, they served together. My brother, Connor, I mean, he was my biggest inspiration. He probably doesn't even know that. My biggest inspiration going into the military. Like, thank you to those people serving. I know in the military you hear it all the time and everything, but I don't think that thank you goes far enough. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, Katie. I really don't think I could have done it. I mean, I would never have been exposed to this life if it weren't for you. So thank you. Thank you to my grandpa. He's the only like immediate veteran I have in my life. So thank you for him and his service. My sister-in-law's dad. Thank you, Captain Bob, for your service. And just everybody that I served with at my previous base and then my now new unit. Like, thank you to everybody. I feel like we really couldn't do it without you. Like, I have so many positive mentors in my life because of it, and it helped shape me to be the person I am today. So thank you to everybody.
Yeah, I wish I had time to like sit here and name everybody that I worked with, because I could go on and on about those people too. But yeah, thank you to those people. My grandfather as well has served. You know, I have, like I said, long list of family and friends who have served, and it's incredible. Katrina, thank you, Katrina, for your service. But yeah, let's get into some facts about Veterans Day. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, so I have some just like a cheap shot ones. So after, you know, all of our thank yous for Veterans Day, I guess I should tell people that there is a difference between Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. Where to most of us, that's like, duh, obviously. I couldn't tell you how many times serving or like as a veteran outside of the military, how many times you will get a text on Memorial Day or even Labor Day and people will just like, thank you for your service. And it's so silly and nobody ever wants to like correct them. But Memorial Day is for those who died in service. Labor Day is just for the American labor movement. That's it. I'm reading off my paper. It's just the American labor movement, like in honor of that. And then Labor Day, or not Labor Day, Veterans Day is for past, present, and like currently, past, present. Yeah, that's what that means. Veterans Day is for past and present, like service members. So that's one of my facts. Do you want to go and then I'll do my last one?
So I feel like, okay, so in the beginning, Veterans Day was established around 1954. That's when the U.S. Designated November 11th as Veterans Day in order to honor all of the veterans who have served in U.S. wars, past, present, currently serving. And then I feel like a lot of people maybe remember this from school, but don't really resonate or like tie it to Veterans Day. But it was initially called Armistice Day, and it was November 1918. And this was the famous on the 11th day, or the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month is when Allied forces came together to sign a peace treaty. And this officially ended the end of World War I. So I feel like a lot of people probably will remember the famous, like, I feel like it's infamous, like 11th hour, 11th day of the 11th month, but they don't necessarily tie that into what is now Veterans Day, because it did happen. Like, it was officially established as Veterans Day, like, decades later. But that is initially where we got Veterans Day from.
Whoa. Which is so crazy to think about, that Veterans Day hasn't been around longer. Like, obviously, what you said, 1958, was that it? When it was officially Veterans Day?
50.
Okay. Like, obviously, there were people serving way before that. So it's crazy to think that. So thank you to all those people who never got the thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My last one, total cheap shot here. There's no apostrophe in Veterans Day. So if you're going to text somebody or post it on Facebook, there's no apostrophe S. So it's veterans, like plural veterans. Just Veterans Day. No extra punctuation in there. So that's my silly little fact I have.
Katie likes grammar.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody who has tuned into our first podcast. We appreciate it. So far, so good. I really did not expect it to be as many people as it is. So that is, I mean, actually I did. I expected it to be, but
I expected more, but that's okay. We'll give you guys another week or so.
45 is a good start. Basically 1 million. But thank you guys for being here with us this episode, and hopefully the longer we keep doing this, the more comfortable we get, and like hopefully at some point we'll be able to take questions from our audience.
Yeah, send them in.
Give us your hot takes. Let us know your delusional thoughts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Let us know your delusional thoughts.
Yeah, let's hear them. We're not the only delusional people out there. We know that.
Yeah. Come on. Right? Is that delusional? Probably. Right. Well, yeah. Thank you. And happy Veterans Day to all the veterans.